So, Gary Johnson. He's the Libertarian presidential candidate, former governor of New Mexico. He is a libertarian, and libertarianism is foolish. It's the stupid idea that corporations should run the country. That corporate power should overrule national sovereignty. That instead of people, governments, because remember, governments are of, by, and for people. And that's at least, that's the idea, at least. It's been overrun by rampant free market capitalism, which is taking control of our governments. But libertarianism thinks that's a good idea, and that's why Libertarian presidential candidate Gary Johnson is also the only major candidate to come out strongly in favor of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which is a major free trade agreement which, even more so than previous free trade agreements like NAFTA, CAFTA, the GATT, makes corporate power supreme to the democratically enacted laws of sovereign nations. Essentially, under the TPP, we will be giving away our national sovereignty. There will be no more individual rights. Our rights to decide what's best for ourselves. Like, to decide, oh, we don't want toxic waste being poured into our rivers, and we think that we should be able to get paid a minimum wage for working. And there should be certain protections in place for workers' rights, and that sort of thing. But under the TPP, corporations will be allowed to sue us, sue the country, and levy fines for basic democratic rights that might impede their profits. So, for example, if you made a law saying you can't dump toxic waste into the river, and a company wanted to continue dumping toxic waste into the river, and they instead would have to take care of the toxic waste in some proper way, that would cost them more money than just, dumping it in the river, they could then sue the country for the amount of money they feel they'd lose by having to not dump toxic waste into the river. Which sounds ridiculous, because it is. It's ridiculous. And Gary Johnson supports the TPP, so all this talk about, oh, libertarians are for liberty and freedom and self-determination is a bunch of hooey. Because libertarians aren't for freedom. They're for what they think is freedom, but they don't really think it through. Because without collective action, without a real collective power of government, then corporations run crazy. Without regulations, most of us would be dead. I mean, let's just go ahead and say that out there right now. If there wasn't for the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, some basic protections of our environment, then long before corporations had decided that greenwashing was something that could be profitable, they would have poisoned the well already. So, the TPP is awful. Gary Johnson supports the TPP, which is awful. Now, he's got good social policies for the most part, but the TPP could overrule all of his social policies. So, it's kind of a self-defeating sort of thing. But he's polling better, and honestly, if it came down to him, Clinton, or Trump, I'd rather have him. But that doesn't make him any less terrible. Any more than I'd rather have Clinton than Trump makes Clinton any less terrible. You have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And I think human rights abuse is in there somewhere, and maybe, I don't know, concern for poor people and working families is in there. And Clinton, again, she was real in favor of the TPP before. She was pushing it hardcore. And just like when she was Secretary of State and she was hardcore in favor of fracking, now that the election started, suddenly she's completely changed her mind on it. And while still accepting money from big corporate donors and big fracking and oil companies, now she's against it. And she's not going to do anything, that would encourage fracking or such a Trans-Pacific Partnership kind of thing. But we can't trust her on that. She's shown time and again that she is a slimy politician that will change with the wind. But I guess she's at least pretending to be nice, whereas Donald Trump is not. So, those are my thoughts on the election. I'm almost out of YouTube time, so I want everyone to have a great day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.